Hello. Not Billie Eilish playing. That's very fitting. I hope everyone's doing really well. I'm sorry that took me a little bit and I had to push things back. As you can see by the top, I was trying to have everything open so I wouldn't have to go back and do it later. Oh, you guys can't even hear my Spotify. I'm so sorry about that. Hold up. There you go. Now you can hear it. We're gonna jump into it in a moment. And the reason I made this page so small, you'll see in a second. Let me just move my Spotify out of the way and then move my live chat over here. There we go. We're gonna do that. Sorry, y'all. This is taking a bit of adjusting because there's so many windows that I have open. Because I'm trying to, I have OBS open, I have the live chat open, I have the slideshow, I have the other pages at the top, and then I have my Spotify. So, we're just gonna go ahead and get into it. Thank you. Y'all, I've been working on the slideshow for days. I do want to obviously give a disclaimer. There's going to be like harsh topics discussed from time to time. So if that bothers you, please don't feel obligated to be here or to watch if you're watching this later. A like and leave is fine. You don't have to feel obligated to stay. Because I don't want to sugarcoat anything. Some things I have to just because they're so disturbing that I don't want to get deeply into them. But others I don't want to have to walk around, like tiptoe around, and I really want to dive deep into, and so that's what we're gonna do. I do want to preface this also by saying I had a lot more quote-unquote evidence allegedly that I pulled off of Twitter and off of Reddit and Threads and other platforms, but for some reason a lot of these small creators have been getting cease and desist letters from OVO and UMG, which are companies affiliated with Drake or which Drake owns. So, unfortunately, a lot of what I wanted to show no longer exists. But the most scary thread, someone reposted it on Threads, and so I have that, which we're going to look at. And there are some ads on that page, so I'm praying that nothing crazy shows up. But we should be good. And so we'll go ahead and... Catherine! Hi, Catherine. Hello. We're going to go ahead and get into it. The one thing I do want to say also, though, is I don't know if people are following, but this whole P. Diddy thing is just very disappointing and blowing up a lot. The LAPD have legitimately said they can no longer arrest P. Diddy for the video being too old, even though there's a bunch of other atrocities. Joe, welcome back. Hi. And so P. Diddy is still a free man. And so that rumor that Kanye West was making about P. Diddy being an FBI snitch doesn't sound so crazy anymore to a lot of people in the rap game and who listen to rap. So I'm going to closely follow the P. Diddy situation. I want to have a whole conversation about P. Diddy eventually as well, but things are still updating with that one. And that one is a bit more, it's honestly worse than this one in some ways, but in others not. So we're just going to get into it. Kendrick, 𝐜𝐫𝐞𝐝 Lamar versus Aubrey Drake Graham, who just goes by Drake. So let's go ahead and get into it. Obviously, content disclaimer. These are the things that are going to be briefly touched on. I'm not going to really talk too deep into them on this slideshow. So if any of these things bug you, please don't feel obligated to stay. It's okay. His name's Aubrey. It is. Also, hi, Hunter. How are you? And all these things I'm going to say are alleged just for my own sake. I'm not trying to get a cease and desist letter from Drake and his team because obviously he's listening. You're so good at PowerPoint. Thank you. I had to do a lot of PowerPoints in college because of my communications major. So I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I'm well seasoned. So the first slide we're going to get into, or actually this is kind of an overview of what's happening. So there you go. We're going to get into our key players. Animal Crossing streamers. He might. That's his demographic in women. Anyway. Anyways. We're going to get into Kendrick Lamar, who also goes by 𝐼𝐸𝐿 or Boogeyman, as he likes to call himself. He was born, actually, Kendrick Lamar Duckworth on June 17th of 1987. And he's often regarded as like this generation's Tupac, one of the greatest of all time, one of the best writers of all time, the best rappers. All of his albums, people claim them to be masterpieces, Grammy Award winning. He has a Pulitzer Prize as well, I believe, for his writing on his album Damn, which I think I mentioned later, but I'm mentioning it now. And he grew up here, I say here like I live in Compton, but I mean in Cali, in Compton, California. And he was the first child to Kenneth Duckworth, who was a former gang like member and hustler in Southside Chicago, and he was working at a KFC when he met a mother to Kendrick Lamar, Paula Oliver, who's a hairdresser who had worked at McDonald's prior to being a hairdresser. And they both fled Southside Chicago in 1984, actually due to Canvas affiliation with the Gangster Disciples, which is kind of like a big gang unit in New York. Well, I'm sure they're in New York as well. They're kind of everywhere, but in Chicago. And Kendrick was actually named after Eddie Kendricks of the Temptations. And he was the only child and considered, by his own mother's words, a bit of a loner until about the age of 7, when he developed his first brother, and then his second brother followed, and then his sister. So he's the oldest of 4 children. And fun fact, if you guys don't know who they are we back in school? We are. We're learning about Drake and Kendrick today. He's actually cousins with the NBA player Nick Young and the artist Baby Keem, which I had no idea about. I was really shook by the Nick Young part. I was like, what the hell, Nick Young, Kendrick Lamar cousins? I was like, what the hell is that? I had no idea. So I thought that was interesting. And if any of you can't remember who Nick Young is, he's Iggy Azalea's like first man when she came into the music industry, who played basketball. That's him. And the kind of to still go into Kendrick a little bit, he, unlike what we're going to talk about with Drake and this other artist briefly mentioned, he lived a pretty rough life, and that's kind of sugarcoating it. He was surrounded by a lot of violent crime. He was really reliant on Section 8 housing, welfare, food stamps, to the point that at some points in their lives, they even experienced homelessness and a lot of street violence. But despite that, he excelled academically, even with, at the time, he had a stutter. He attended Centennial High School, where he did fail physical education, and because of that, during summer school, he was pushed and involved in a lot of unfortunate gang wars and violence, which led to obviously a lot of police brutality, health scares, and so on. But through his father's intervention, he became like, I don't know if you'd call it born again Christian, but I guess that's what you'd call it. And he entered a lasting relationship with his classmate, Whitney Alford, who is now his wife, or his fiance, one of the two, despite his issues with infidelity, sex addiction, and so on. And he did graduate from high school in 2006 and actually didn't go to college to pursue music, because that was kind of like his mistress, kind of his other mistress, despite, other than the other ones he cheated on his partner with. And he began making mixtapes like while he was in high school, and then right out of it, doing a lot of battle rapping, and he kind of became really famous through his album Good Kid, Mad City, which has the popular songs, I believe it's Poetic Justice, I think, don't quote me, it's been a while, and backseat freestyle. Yeah, he's like Eminem. Yeah, basically. And I believe that him and Eminem are actually good friends. They even performed at the Super Bowl together, if y'all remember, with Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, Mary J. Blige, Eminem, and Kendrick. So he's pretty close with some upper echelon type people in the rap industry, people that have been around for a bit, that have had their own, like, fair share of violence. Layla, hello, how are you? Welcome in. I'm doing really well. We're just getting into the slideshow. Boomer Squad, please. And then this is his quick view of his album history. So it started with an album actually called Section .80, I think. Other people say it's 60. I saw 80. I don't know which it is, but that's what it is. Into Good Kid, Mad City, and then recently ending with Collaborations and Beef. His last album was actually 2 years ago, and it was Mr. Morale, the Big Steppers. And fun fact about that pertaining to myself, I was actually supposed to attend his concert in Inglewood in October, but because my dog broke my leg earlier that year in July, I had to sell my ticket because I could no longer get a wheelchair seat. And I'm still very upset about it because Kendrick is my favorite rapper. I have to be transparent, and so I was very upset. That's correct? Okay, perfect. I got it right. Other people had it wrong then. I was looking at other people's, like, the way they had the album written, and so I'm glad I dug deep enough to get it right. God bless. The next person we're going to get into, let me move my little person actually to, like, the top corner or something where she's not in the way. We're going to put her up here. There we go. She looks fine. There you go. Aubrey Drake Graham. He goes only by Drake, obviously. And he was born October 24th of 1986. So this is an old man. He's 37. Well, not old, but I'm old for the BS that he's doing. You'll see what I mean. And he is kind of credited as hip-hop's biggest villain by people within the industry. He was born in Toronto, Ontario, from parents Dennis Graham, an African-American drummer from Memphis, and Sandra Graham, who's a Canadian Jewish woman who worked as an English teacher and a florist. Green Bean, hello, how are you? Welcome in. He's a dual citizen of the U.S. and Canada, and he actually attended a Jewish day school and became a bar mitzvah at a very young age. But his parents, unfortunately, did divorce at the age of 5, and he stayed with his mom. So he lived, though at certain points he did face some form of poverty, though his closest form of poverty was he lived in a house with other families, and he lived in the basement all on his own. He never really faced tremendous hardship. There's no mention of bullying in his life. There's no mention of violence, of, you know, I'm going to say unalivings, because if I say the M word, they're probably going to get me. So his life was pretty smooth, all things considered, and considered his father's absence and incarcerations. He lived, I put glass, but that's supposed to be working class, neighborhoods. He played sports. He became an aspiring actor, which some of y'all may remember him from Degrassi, where he played Jimmy Brooks at the age of 15. So he lived a pretty decent life. Irvi, hello, welcome in. How are you? Popping in to say hi because I hate politics. No worries, it's okay. Don't feel bad. And then Drake, he moved onto music pretty young in his life. He actually made a song for Degrassi when he was 15, and then he made his first album, Thank Me Later, in 2010, which was more of a blend of hip-hop, R&B, and pop. And he won numerous Grammys for that, and for other albums. And he was a big hit with women because of his R&B and kind of like shake your ass type music. You might leave. It's okay. Don't feel bad. I know I'm streaming kind of a little bit late, so no worries at all. And his best albums, according to like critics, are Take Care and Nothing Was the Same from the early 2010s. So like his new music isn't getting as critically acclaimed. we do like doing that, Hunter. We do. And so there's Drake, and he has too many albums for me to list, so I went and I found this photo. Here's his album history. At a glance, there it is for you. You know, I think his last album, the 𝐜𝐤, I can't stand it. The last album was All the Dogs, I believe. And so there's that for Drake. Very briefly, my poor man, Jermaine Lamar Cole, who ended up being the smartest one in this whole entire beef. Thank you, 𝐼𝐬𝐼𝐿, I appreciate it. Because he dipped out before it got really nasty. Obviously, we're talking about J. Cole, born 28th of January, 1985, to his African-American father, who was a veteran, and his white mother, Kay, who was a postal worker. He lived most of his life in North Carolina. His father did abandon him young, but he started rapping at the age of 12. He always had an affinity for music, and he also could play sports really well. Like his favorite one was basketball, but he kind of played whatever sports he wanted. He was very athletic. He was highly intelligent, which I'm sure you can tell through most of his rap. He had a 4.2 GPA in high school, so this fool was very smart. So much so that he went to New York City on scholarship to St. John's University, but he got his diploma held and didn't graduate for like a whole year or get his diploma because he didn't pay like $1.50 on a library book. Isn't that so stupid? With all the humble meal, he was humbled, but people ended up apologizing to him. Like, I felt bad for the man. But he was very smart, and he had a pretty good life. He was actually the first artist signed to Jay-Z's Rock Nation. And fun fact, he actually helped search up 𝐿𝐼𝐿𝐽. Oh God, I'm scared. He was actually the person who introduced Kendrick Lamar to Jay-Z. Fun fact. So that kind of bit him in the ass. It's nothing bad. Okay, I'm gonna look it up on my phone. Wait. Let me look this up, y'all. 𝐿𝐼𝐿𝐽. What kind of meal is that? It's just a cup of water and a burger? J. Cole, come on now. I can't defend that. But why are we comparing them? There was a big beef going on, 𝐼𝐬𝐼. Thank you for lurking and listening, Layla. I appreciate you. There was a big beef that happened, 𝐼𝐬𝐼, and we're gonna get into that. And so this is kind of the friendly beginnings of that beef. I'm gonna be moving my PNG throughout the stream. Just ignore it. So Kendrick, like I mentioned, was discovered by two different people, kind of. He was discovered by J. Cole, who mentioned it to, I thought Jay-Z, but it was Dr. Dre, my mistake. And then by Drake. And the incident with Drake happened in November of 2011 when Drake was kind of going on, a pre-tour before his tour, and he saw that Kendrick was performing in Toronto for his first ever show for his little kind of like mini tour for Section 80. And Drake spotted him. He allegedly really liked his vibe, and he invited him to have a conversation. And even Kendrick called Drake a genuine soul. And Drake actually asked Kendrick to be on his album. And so Kendrick recorded the Buried Alive interlude. And it was a Grammy Award winning album. A lot of people liked the artistic direction of Kendrick on that song. And so following this positive response, Drake actually invited Kendrick and A$AP Rocky, who's a bit of a player in this as well, to tour with him. And so in October of 2012, as soon as that tour was kind of wrapping up 𝐼𝐬𝐜𝐞𝐝 Rocky released Effin' Problems featuring Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and 2 Chainz, the same time that Kendrick dropped his album Good Kid, Mad City and his song Poetic Justice featuring Drake, which is actually the last time they ever professionally collaborated together or kind of talked cordially. You want me to say the word fucking problems? I'm sorry. You're right. I added a disclaimer. The song's called Fucking Problems, okay? That's the name of the song. But dunk it? You're welcome. Is it dunk or dunk it? I actually went to Germany, okay? So I tried to learn, but they said it different to me. Some people said danke with an E, and some people just said dunk. So I was like, which way is it? Poetic Justice is the best. That's actually the first time I discovered Kendrick. It was October of 2012. I was leaving junior high with my best friend Monique. Shout out to you, girl. Well, one of my besties. I got a few. And her dad put on Kendrick Lamar, and it was Poetic Justice. And I remember I heard it, and I was like, but and mind you, my rap was like Tupac, Biggie, and like Run DMC. Like at the time, right? And so I asked him, who is this? And they're like, oh, this is this rapper Kendrick Lamar. He has really good songs. And I remember when I got home, I just bumped Good Kid, Mad City the whole night. And that was the first time I found Kendrick. So I was like 12, 13. I was very young. And so that was my first exposure to like modern rap. And thank God for that. Now we're going to get into where things get kind of messy, which is the song Control by Big Sean, which featured Kendrick Lamar and 𝐼𝐬𝐜𝐿. After releasing Good Kid, Mad City in 2012, he was rising to fame a lot. So in August of that same year, Big Sean, another rapper, I believe from Detroit, put him on his song Control, and it kind of shook up the entire industry because Kendrick Lamar did this thing which other rappers have done in the past. I believe 50 Cent and Biggie at the time, where he kind of called out all these rappers. He called out 11 actually. It was J. Cole, Big Crit, Wale, Pusha T, Meek Mills, 𝐼𝐸𝐴 Rocky, Drake, Big Sean, 𝐽 Tyler the Creator, and Mac Miller. So he even called out the people he was on the song with. It was kind of like friendly fire. But he basically said, I got love for you all, but I'm trying to murder you guys. And if you see stars anywhere, by the way, this little star thing right here, that is supposed to be where that word is. I'm obviously not going to say that, and I don't feel comfortable even writing the start of it either. So that's what that is. If it shows up anywhere, I did kind of pull and paste certain notes from some online sources, so it's not me. And I did this at like 1 a.m, so I didn't go through and clean. I apologize. CeeLo, hello, welcome in. But then in an interview with Power 106 of that same year in 2012 in LA, Kendrick talked about the after effects of the track and how everyone took it good and lighthearted except for Drake. In weeks after the release, Drake was being petty, and he went on to say that it sounded like an ambitious thought. I'm just going to read what he said. It sounded like an ambitious thought to me. That's all it was. I know good and well that Kendrick's not murdering me at all in any platform. So when that day presents itself, I guess we can revisit the topic. And then in another interview, he said, he asked the interviewee, are you listening to it anymore? And he mocked Kendrick and called him an underdog. And he basically also said in the same breath that the song meant nothing, but that Kendrick was lame for going halfways by saying, fuck everybody. Yeah, I made it, Alonzo. I made it over the course of a few days, very last minute. You need to sleep. I was too invested. Thank you. I want to talk about it. I have to talk about this. It's driving me crazy. Thank you, Rick. And so it became kind of a decade of disses. Between the point of 2013 and 2023, it became blatantly clear that Drake and Kendrick Lamar hated each other. a lot of it comes from conjecture and theory crafting, but at the 2013 BET Hip Hop Awards, Kendrick went on to do a cipher where he said, yeah, and nothing been the same since they dropped Control and tucked a sensitive rapper back in his pajama clothes. Haha, joke's on you, high five, smack, I'm bulletproof. And this was aimed at Drake, and Nothing Was the Same was a reference to his album release that year. What's my favorite diss? It's probably... I only like Meet the Grams because that is the diss track for me that actually scared me. Like when I listened to it, and we're going to go into it, I have another page that I'm going to open up that we're going to read the lyrics on. It affected me to a point where I was like, I can't listen to Kendrick for a good week. Like it was scary. It was really like the boogeyman was out to get Drake. It was very intense. If you haven't heard it, I highly recommend it, but it was like a scary diss track. It was like a nightmare diss track. I was scared. But then in 2013 at Sway's Universe, Schoolboy Q and Sway called Kendrick and they asked him if the verse was about Drake. The phone connection was booty cheeks. But Kendrick basically said it was all in good fun, at which point Schoolboy Q hung up really quick because he wanted no smoke. He wanted no beef. And then the next year in 2014, Drake talked about it and how he felt baited by Kendrick, where he said the following. He said, it became an issue, where it became an issue is that I was rolling out an album while that verse was still bubbling. So my album rollout became about this thing. What am I supposed to say? Nah, we'll be buddy-buddy. Katie, thank you for lurking. Aubrey, the type of guy to stomp his feet when he gets angry. Oh my God. I really just came to say hi. No worries, Rig. This is going to be here after anyway, so you're fine. But then he continued and he said that he only really viewed Kanye West as a competition and nobody else in the industry, which is very egotistical of him, considering there were people like Jay-Z and Lil Wayne in the industry at the time. So that was very high horse of him to say. And there are many songs that are theorized to be subliminal disses, which lead to the direct disses of recent. These are the next 31 songs in this next page, and it ends at the Heart Part 6. So it's from 2013 to now 2024. So it's been 11 years of these fools beefing. 𝐜𝐲𝐿 goated. He's weird. Yeah, he makes very great music, but he's a freak. Here, you can't really see too well, but this is a long list. So it starts with Control in 2013, and it ends with, it's not on here, but it should end with the 32nd song, which is The Heart Part 6 by Drake. So they've been going at it for a while. We're now going to get into the deep parts of this mess. And I put Kendrick on here because according to Rolling Stones and the culture, he won. So that's the face of it. It really propelled itself with the first song called First Person Shooter. And it came out from Drake and J. Cole in October of 2023. And J. Cole fired first by saying, first person shooter mode, we turn in your song to a funeral. And then he continued with love when they argue the hardest MC. Is it 𝐜𝐫𝐞𝐝? Is it Aubrey or me? We the big three, like we started a league, but right now I feel like Muhammad Ali. Basically implying that yes, it's the big three of them at the top, but he's Muhammad Ali, so he's the greatest of all time. Like there's no debating that. They not like us, period. Hermano, welcome in. How are you? Let me get your link going. Hold up now. Let me not be a bad streamer. There we go. Órale. And then obviously the first line, Kendrick, he will be addressing that in Like That. And so that was the first part of First Person Shooter. Now did I miss a part? I think I did. It was Drake's verse. Hold on now. Oh, yes. And then Drake comes in and he says, man talking about when this gonna be repeated. What the fuck, bro? I'm away from Mike. I'm on away from Michael. Man beat it, what? Which is a really... that lyric just pisses me off. Like, it just makes me upset. But he was basically implying that Drake, he sits right behind Michael Jackson on the billboards. And so he's using that as like an example that he has a bigger legacy. No worries, hermano. He has a bigger legacy than Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole because he has more on the charts. I don't know, but that's what his defense is. Obviously, Kendrick Lamar hears this. And so on the album that dropped earlier this year from Metro Boomin and Future, there's a song on that album called Like That. And Kendrick Lamar was featured on the song, which was to everybody's surprise because he wasn't listed. And so Metro Boomin and Future, who also have beef with Drake, which we're going to get into later, knew what they were doing. So, a brief rundown, though, of the beef between Future, Metro, and Drake. Future was supposed to drop an album called What a Time to Be Alive with Drake. But instead, Drake made an album with 21 Savage. He allegedly stole Future's girl, and he was sneak dissing him. Metro Boomin, Drake allegedly stepped on a lot of Metro Boomin's releases. He was sneak dissing him in his own songs. He ghosted him, and he was stealing his music. So they obviously got problems with Drake. So does Kendrick. So Kendrick comes on the song. I actually know the whole verse by heart. Because I'm a psycho, because I listened to it so much, because I loved it. But the first line, or one of the first lines is, these fools are talking out of their necks. Don't pull no coffin out of your mouth. I'm way too paranoid for a threat. So he's basically responding to J. Cole's line about his songs turning into like funeral music, and he's giving a slight warning. Then he continues by saying, motherfuck the big three, it's just big me. And so he's addressing the song title outright by saying and sneak dissing, saying that Drake and J. Cole are sneak dissing, and also, it's not about you guys, it's just me. Like, I don't have the numbers, I don't have none of that, but people talk about me in my music. Like, I don't get buried under the hype of it, if that makes sense. Then he continues by, Prince outlived Mike Jack, which is kind of a double entendre, saying a lot of Prince's music is played actually a lot more heavily than Michael Jackson's, and Prince outlived Michael Jackson. So there's that. And then the last line that is kind of really hits at Drake in particular, he says, for all your dogs getting buried, that's a K with all these nines, he gonna see Pet Cemetery. He calls them out as dogs, so canines, and then the name of the album which First Person Shooter is on was called All the Dogs, for all the dogs. So it was kind of a direct subliminal, but it wasn't direct yet. Like, he wasn't dropping names yet, but he was directly dissing the sneak disses that J. Cole and Drake threw. Now, poor J. Cole. When I tell you guys, I was so disappointed. I expected so much out of J. Cole, because J. Cole is supposed to be like this great writer, this great rapper, and his drill just wasn't that. Like, I think the most memorable thing I have from his diss was that he called To Pimp a Butterfly mediocre, which is ridiculous because that's one of Kendrick Lamar's probably best albums ever, if not the best album. And so that was a little crazy. But on April 5th of this year, J. Cole dropped the album Might Delete Later, which included a 7-minute drill for Kendrick Lamar. And he indeed did delete the album later. So there's that. I considered the diss track to be very mediocre. It was awful, honestly. And then not even 2 days later at Dreamsville Festival, J. Cole issued an apology where he basically said, you know what, that doesn't fit with my spirit. That's not my vibe. I don't want to talk shit on my friends. Kendrick's one of the best to do it. Peace and love, as that one guy from the Beatles says. And he basically said he was going to be taking it off streaming services, which he did. So at the time, a lot of people were clowning on J. Cole because they really wanted this beef. But now people are applauding him because this man is taking pictures with fans on the fucking beach while Drake and Kendrick Lamar are duking it out in the music industry and getting really nasty. So J. Cole saw the vision before anyone else, so I applaud him. The next slide. This is where the lyric breakdown, it just became too much for me to dive into because I know I kind of had extra notes on top of notes that I saw from other people. But we're going to go ahead and go to this link. My page is going to look crazy for a second. Just vibe with it, okay? I'm going to copy this link and then we're going to go up here, okay? And we're going to go look at this, okay? Let me hide that. There you go. Don't trip out on me. This is a slideshow from, I'm going to drop the channel link in my description or my comments section as soon as I'm done tripping, please. But it just became too much to follow after, you know, J. Cole's 7-minute drill. So now we're going to get into where Drake and Kendrick kind of start going at it. And it starts with the song Push Ups by Drake. So this is the cover of Push Ups. It's supposed to be a diss at Kendrick, I guess, for being short and having a small foot. I don't know. That's what Drake decided to go for first. But he released it on April 19th. And he came for a lot of people on this song, not just Kendrick Lamar. He came at ASAP, he came at Rick Ross, he came at Future. One small foot or small feet, I don't know. But he just came at Kendrick for being like a size 7 shoe and being like 5'7". That's really all he came at him for. And like not being able to do push-ups. We're gonna get into what he said because it's kind of stupid. I thought this diss was kind of dumb. He was more concerned about making a club banger than about dissing Kendrick. And so he starts with, I can't believe I'm talking like this. Actually, I talk like this all the time. What am I talking about? He said, "You pussies can't get booked outside America for nothing," is what he's trying to say. "I'm out in Tokyo because I'm big in Japan." I don't know what that means. But in a video by What's the Dirt, there's supposed to be a jab behind this line, basically kind of just saying that Drake is big in Tokyo, but also there's a woman who goes by the name Just Tokyo. And a few months ago, she posted on her Instagram that she was at a Drake concert. And she had implied that he had invited her there, but he's kind of denying those implications. But also not, because Just Tokyo is a friend of Future's. Or like a groupie for Future. And so he's kind of taking a dig at Future in that line. Then he continues by saying, "I'm the hit maker y'all depend on backstage in my city. It was friend zone. You won't ever take no chain off of us." Basically saying that he endorses and helps a lot of people, including The Weeknd, who he also has beef with, the Migos, Rick Ross, Kendrick Lamar, A$AP Rocky, and a ton of others. "Extortion, baby, whole career you've been shook up because Top told you drop and give me 50 like some push-ups." I'm so late to the tea. I wanted to hijack. I wanted to talk about it because it's been eating me up, the stuff happening with Drake and Kendrick. And I asked people they wanted me to do a slideshow, and they said yes. So here we are. Aubrey, curb your ego, please. Literally. But I hope you're doing good, Jet. I hope you've been doing well. Then he said that line basically saying, he's talking about how Top Dog, owner of Top Dog Entertainment, pushed Kendrick into a record deal. So basically saying whatever Top says, Kendrick Lamar has to do. And so he splits his profits 50-50 with himself and then TDE. is what his implication is. Pull your contract because we got to see the split. The way you doing splits, bitch, your pants might rip. Again, all he's doing is talking about the split of the 50-50. He says, you better do that motherfucking show inside the biddy. Maroon 5 need a verse, you better make it witty. Then we need a verse for the Swifties. Which I guess he's kind of implying that he may have been forced to be on collaborations with Maroon 5 and Taylor Swift, even though he didn't want to. He then continues with, you ain't no big three. SZA got you wiped down. Travis got you wiped down. Savage got you wiped down. And here, his friends actually came forward. Like, SZA made an Instagram live where she basically was, or a story, where she basically posted and said, like, why the hell are you bringing me up for? He's mentioning his friends in a fight where his friends have no place. And so I found this line to just be kind of stupid. I'm going to be frank. He then continues with, what the fuck is this? A 20v1. What's a prince? What's a prince to a king? He a son. Basically going back and just kind of touching again on the Prince of Michael Jackson line. Y'all are gonna notice that on the songs that I talk about Drake, there's gonna be a lot less time touching on them because they're just very direct lines. Whereas with Kendrick Lamar's songs, some of his song titles alone have quadruple or quintuple entendres to them, meaning they have several meanings. So I'm gonna be diving deeper into Kendrick's songs than Drake's, because Drake is kind of just direct to the point, and Kendrick is like, I'm gonna make you think because you're stupid, Drake, you're dumb. And so, just a forewarning, yes, it's called being a good lyricist, exactly. And this is just very direct, like it's kind of dumb, I gotta be honest. I be with some bodyguards like Whitney. And at this part, he was kind of talking about the movie with Whitney Houston, but he was also coming after Kendrick Lamar's wife, Whitney Alford, on this rumor that was floating around that Kendrick was domestically abusing her. Even though there's really only one article on this, and it's been, I think, debunked up to this point, and so that's not true. He then goes in to say top, say drop, your little, I'm not gonna say that word because it's a yesterday word. How dare you, Jake? Ass better. Fuck. I'm just gonna skip over this, y'all, because y'all can just stare and look at it. It's very clear. His lyrics are just to the point. I'm gonna skip past them. I do want to talk very briefly about tailor-made freestyle, though, and I do want to say, as a Cali native, I find it disrespectful to use Snoop Dogg. Right, because he's alive and well, but he's one of the, it's a yesterday word, it is, where he's one of the best to ever do it, right? And a lot of people love him in the West Coast. But to use AI to falsify the voice of Tupac against a man from Compton, how dare you? That is so many layers of disrespectful, and not even tasteful disrespect. That's just disrespectful. You don't mock the dead. And karma bit him right in the ass because the Tupac's estate and family threatened legal action, so he had to take the song down anyways. Idiot. Because it's like, how the hell are you going to use someone like Tupac to make a mockery of a man from Compton? A black man from Compton, mind you. Are you dumb? And he said nothing in particular in the song, so I'm going to kind of skip over it. He basically was like, they did what, when, how, are you sure? Kind of just making a mockery of Kendrick and his sources. That's really it. I'm going to skip right past it because, again, it makes no sense. The only line I do want to touch on, though, is a song called, shout out to Taylor Swift, biggest gangster in the game. I moved my album when she dropped. I said that already. Basically implying that Kendrick moved his album years ago to accommodate to Taylor's album. But also that he's tailor-made because Kendrick Lamar worked with Taylor. That's going to be an important little aspect because in one of Kendrick's diss tracks, he actually hires the producer from Taylor Swift's team and makes him make a beat for his song. That's petty. Now we're going to get into the song 𝐜𝐫𝐞𝐿, which is the main reason. A lot of the reasons I didn't make my own notes on the lyrics, y'all, is because Kendrick Lamar's songs run so deep. This this PowerPoint would have been 100 pages long. There's just so much to go over, and I'm going to try to go through it as fast as I can because it's a lot. But already with the cover art, euphoria is a feeling of well-being or elation. And the second example talks about being a Tuesday, and then Kendrick Lamar dropped the song on a Tuesday. So already going in. But Kendrick Lamar, he responded on April 30th to Drake's 2 songs. And the title is a dig at Drake because he was a producer on the show Euphoria. And it was also released at 8/24 as an ode, I guess, to Kobe Bryant's jersey numbers, as they were friends. And then the significance of the day April 30th is the day that Hitler died, and Drake is a Jewish man. And it also happens to be the day of national honesty and the day of the child. And he proceeds to call Drake a deadbeat father. So, the Zendaya Euphoria, yes. I'm trying to make my 2 cats like each other. Oh, no. Good luck, Alonzo. Oh, no. That's tough. Good luck. No, that stinks. But the beginning of the song is everything they say about me is true, but in reverse. And it comes from the movie The Wiz, which is a retelling of The Wizard of Oz. And he's basically calling Drake a phony. He then goes into the line, the superpowers get neutralized. I can only watch in silence. The famous actor we once knew is looking paranoid and now is spiraling. Kind of taking a jab at Drake being an actor before he's a rapper. Fabricating stories on the family front because you heard Mr. Morale, a pathetic master manipulator. I could spell the tales on you now. You're not a rap artist, you're a scam artist with the hopes of being accepted. And then I think the next line was, Tommy Hilfiger stood out, but FUBU never had been your collection. Which basically is implying that, in his eyes, that Drake is trying really desperately to be welcomed into the hip-hop and black community, even though he never has been involved in the culture or experienced anything with what Kendrick and a lot of other hip-hop artists consider to be kind of like a passage into the culture, if that makes sense. And then the next line I really like, and I completely agree with, where he says, I make music that electrifies them, you make music that pacifies them, which I completely agree with, because Drake has bangers, I'm not gonna lie, but he also makes club bangers. He doesn't make music that makes you sit there and think and contemplate. You know what I mean? Which is fine, but you can't say there and first of all, you can't sit there and say you're one of the greatest rappers of all time when you have like 20 ghostwriters on your team. But you also can't sit there and say that when you do nothing for the culture, you just make a bunch of club bangers for people to dance to. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, DJ Academics, who is like the biggest brown nose and bitch for Drake, fell asleep on a live stream listening to Certified Lover Boy from Drake. So, and then he continues by saying, I can double down on that line, but spare you this time. That's random acts of kindness, which is referring to the pacify him line, which is a reference to Drake allegedly being involved with underage people. So there's that. And then he continues by saying, know you a master manipulator and a habitual liar too. Don't tell no lies about me, and I won't tell truths about you. And he is referring to Drake as a master manipulator, saying that he's telling lies, and Kendrick is only telling the truth, which we find out on Meet the Grams, which I'm going to be very scared to get into. DJ Academics, he's clearly on, Drake's payroll. There's no way. He says, DJ Academics is another. He's literally being sued for I'm not going to say the word, grapes and DV, so he's an idiot. He continues with, have you ever walked your enemy down? How does he do it? He's like, have you ever walked your enemy down, like with a poker face? Have you ever paid 500,000, like to an open case? Well, I have, and I failed at both, but I came out straight. That's what he says. And he basically is actually tying this back to a settlement a lot of people didn't know about, y'all. And it's a lawsuit where Drake paid a 6-figure settlement of only $300,000 US, but because it was in like Belgium or somewhere, he paid $500,000 to a woman to settle in court for SA. Nobody knew about this until Kendrick Lamar talked about it, because I think it was like in New Zealand or something. So the conversion of $350,000 equaled 500,000. I'm already blown away. Be getting a Grammy after this. Oh my God. I saw a video of that lady. His friends diddled. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. I hate. Anyway. Someone had told me that you got a ring on God. I'm ready to double the wage. I'd rather do that than let a Canadian man make Pac turn in his grave. Which, for those that don't know, a while ago, Drake had bought for $1 million a ring of Tupac's. And Kendrick said he's willing to spend more money to get it back because he wants to put it on a rapper from the West Side instead of someone who isn't even American and who doesn't even care for the culture wearing it out and about. And it runs a little deeper too, because right now Tupac's estate is suing to get all of his things to his family instead of having it be like a museum. So that's okay. Don't worry about it, 𝐜𝐲. He next line goes into, yeah, Cole and Aubrey know I'm a selfish man. The crown is heavy. I pray they my real friends. If not, I'm 𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐲, which 𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐲 is a man who was suspected of unaliving his two close friends because they had beef. And so Kendrick is basically saying, y'all are my friends, but if you slip up, I'm going to pull a 𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐲. Like, he's issuing a warning. And poor J. Cole, catching strays, even though he dipped out. My poor man. And then the next line, I don't like you popping shit at Pharrell. For him, I'll inherit the beef, which if you guys don't know, Drake talks about in the song Meltdown how he melted down jewelry that he initially bought from Pharrell's. And Pharrell worked with Pusha T a lot. And so because Drake and Pusha T have beef, he's dissing Pharrell. And so now Kendrick is saying, I'll inherit the beef for him. I'll carry that torch and I'll walk it with me. Now you and I have beef, not just because of our problems, but because of your problems with Pharrell, which is crazy. Get that dough, Tupac's estate, period. And then he said, yeah, fuck all that pushing P. Let me see you push a T. You're better off spending it again on him. You think about pushing me. He's Terrence Thornton. I'm Terrence Crawford. Yeah, I'm whooping the feet. Which is basically, the name of Pusha T is Terrence Thornton. And Kendrick is saying that in the feud, he's Terrence Crawford, who's a professional boxer who rarely lost a fight or rarely loses a fight when he fights. He doesn't fight often, but when he has to, he doesn't lose. So Kendrick is basically saying, I don't have to come out here and fight for myself often, but when I do, I'm not going to lose the battle. So he's giving kind of an extra warning. He then continues by saying, I know some shit about guys that make Gunna want to look like a saint. And for people who don't know, Gunna is a man who is often looked as a snitch in the industry because he kind of snitched on things that involved him so that he didn't have to get prosecuted so poorly, kind of like Tekashi 6ix9ine. And he's saying that he knows things about Drake that make him worse than Gunna. And so there's that. Friendly reminder that Pusha T is the rapper who dissed Drake into actually becoming a father and not a deadbeat for his son, Adonis. So Pusha T is not one to be trifled with either. Then he continues with, they ain't been about critics. This ain't about critics, not about gimmicks, not about who's the greatest. It's always been about love and hate. And let me say, I'm the biggest hater. I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress. I love that line. And that line is actually just a reference to DMX, who also hated Drake. He talked about it on the Breakfast Club a few years ago. And DMX, obviously, kind of a legend in the industry. And so there's that. And then he continues right after that next line saying, I hate the way that you sneak this. If I catch flight, it's going to be direct. We hate the bitches you fuck because they confuse themselves with real women. And notice I said we. It's not just me. I'm with the culture feeling. Basically implying that a lot of people have beef, which, like I mentioned, Kendrick, The Weeknd, Future, Metro Boomin, Kanye West, You got bars? No, I don't. I'm just reading what Kendrick wrote. A lot of people have issues with Drake. And it's not just one person. It's like half the industry that does not like this man. And so he's issuing a warning like, hey, it's not just me who's going to be coming after you. It's all these other people. Then the next line we're dissecting is, how many more fairy tale stories about your life till we had enough? How many more black features till you finally feel like you're black enough? Which is kind of, again, a reference to them saying that they consider Drake a white boy because of how he grew up and the fact that he didn't really... If y'all saw Drake when he first came into the industry, he wasn't trying to be like all gangster until as of recent. Like after he made that song with 21 Savage, he thought because 21 Savage unalived a man, he could take on that personality too. Like it was crazy. Then right after that, it moves into Eminem is more black than Drake. I've heard people say that Drake makes Logic look black. Like I couldn't believe when I read that. I was like, people are taking it too far. But the next line is, I like Drake with the melodies. I don't like Drake when he act tough. You gonna make a man bring back Puff. Let me see if Chubbs really crashed something. Which, for those of y'all who don't know, Chubbs is Drake's personal bodyguard, and he's kind of bringing up this incident that allegedly happened in 2014, where Puff P. Diddy, another disgusting man, who knows why Drake was hanging out with him, right? Slapped Drake for, like, taking a beat from him that he wanted, and Chubbs didn't do anything. So, there's that. Yeah, my first one is like my last one. It's a classic. You don't have one. Let your core audience stomach that, then tell them where you get your abs from. That line. Oh, I'm sorry. I love that line. Core, stomach, abs, the way that he just kept it. I'm sick. And that's actually about a speculation how Drake has had a nose job. He had a BBL and he had his abs done. And Kendrick isn't the first one to bring it up. Rick Ross has brought it up. Megan brought it up where she said, talking about BBLs, but you're walking around with the same scars. So it's a talk in the industry. It's not just him. Drake, the type of guy to claim he's from the hood, but the only hood he has is his hoodie. Please. BBL Drizzy. Yeah, that song's crazy. And then he said, V12, it's a fast one. Bow, bow, bow. Last one, which is a reference to the slimming machine for removing fat and cellulite. Headshot for the year, you better walk around like Daft Punk, basically implying that he's going to get headshot. So walk around with safety. Allegedly. No one come after me, please. Then he says, remember, a top dog, who the fuck you think they playing with? And then he says, he's basically implying that even though he's not signed into a record label, he's still on good terms with Top Dog and TDE, even though he's not signed to them anymore. So, like, the fact that Drake was trying to make it seem like Kendrick was in this controlling relationship instead of, like, that was his homie, that's what he's kind of trying to take away. Then he says, Yachty can't give no swag neither. I don't give a fuck about who you hang with. Which was, I don't know if you guys know, but the rapper Lil Yachty got outed as a ghostwriter for Drake. Which is crazy. Which is why he rides so hard for Drake. And then he says again, I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress. Surprised you wanted that feature request. You know that we got some shit to address. Which is... It stems from a podcast from Joe Budden where he brought forth the theory that J. Cole and Drake, actually they invited Kendrick to be on first person shooter, but Kendrick said no because he stands on business. He's like, you and I have a problem. I'm not hopping on a song with you. It's no. And that's why they dissed him. And then the next line he says, I even hate when you say the word. But that's just me, I guess. Basically saying, even though you're a biracial man, you're still not black enough for me to say the word. Is basically what Kendrick is saying. And then he goes in to say, when I see you stand by Sexy Red, who's a female rapper, I believe you see two bad bitches. I believe you don't like women. It's real competition. You might pop ass with them. Which is kind of talking down on Drake in terms of his masculinity, but also dissing him for his BBL surgery. And then he continues with, let's speak on percentage, show me your splits, I'll make sure I'll double back with you. You were signed to a man that signed to a man that said he was signed to that person. Try cease and desist on the like that record. Which this line was crazy because Drake was standing in front of everyone, right? Making tailor-made freestyle, making freaking push-ups, talking about how he's waiting for Kendrick. He's waiting for Kendrick. But in the behind the scenes, he sent a cease and desist to Future because of a song that Kendrick was featured on. That's crazy. That's crazy movements right there, Drake. That's wild. And then Kendrick continues with another part of the song a little bit after the above line, which is the line that kind of really hit for Drake, I think. But it's true because, y'all, let's be honest, if Pusha T didn't expose Drake about Adonis, he probably wouldn't have been a responsible father. He said, that's whole shit. I got a son to raise, but I can see you don't know nothing about that. I love this line. He's like, waking him up, know nothing about that. Something to pray, know nothing about. Then give him the tools to walk through life like day by day, know nothing about that. He's basically saying, you're not there for your son. And if Pusha T hadn't revealed that you had a son, you still wouldn't be there for your son. Which is true. We can't sit here and lie because Drake wasn't claiming his son until Pusha T exposed to the world that he had one, which is very sad for Adonis. When he gets older, he's going to figure that out, and he's going to hate his father. It's so sad for him. Then he says, ain't 20v1, it's a 1v20. If I gotta smack people out right with you, yeah, bring them out too. I'll clean them out too. Tell Beam that I better stay right with you. And then the last line is, am I battling Ghost or AI? Which is kind of a reference to Drake having ghostwriters, but also using AI on a song. So he's like, who am I battling? Your ghostwriters or AI? Like, which one is it? And then the next line is, man's feeling like Joel Osteen. Funny, he was on a film called AI, and my sixth sense is telling me to off him. And in this part, he actually got the pastor Joel Osteen confused with Haley Joel Osment, who was in the movie Sixth Sense and AI. And so some people think it's deliberate, others think it's actually a mistake. So there's that. And then in this part, he's kind of just mocking Drake's accent by saying, don't speak on the family Crody. It can get deep in the family Crody, because Crody's kind of like Toronto slang. And he also has a cat named Crody, which is crazy. Then we're on the last stretch for Euphoria, y'all. Hold on. He says, whoever that's fucking with them, fuck you people and fuck the industry too. If you take it there, I'm taking it further. Psst, that's something you don't want to do. Which is kind of just giving a warning. And so there's that. The next song is called 616 in LA. And this song alone, the title has so many entendres. For those of you who are looking at the cover and looking like, what's that? The glove on the cover is the glove, allegedly, of O.J. Simpson. 616, I think, was either the day that he killed his partner or that the trial was held. It's also Father's Day. It's the day that Euphoria premiered. It's Tupac's birthday, and it's a Bible proverb. This man, and he released it at 616 in LA. He did meet his maker. God bless. Man died. Hallelujah, you know. OJ glove? Yeah, exactly. So what are the first sides of the song? I have to... I had to sneeze, y'all, my fault. He says, there are 6 things the Lord hates, 7 that are detestable to him. Haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked schemes, feet that are quick to rush into evil, a false witness who pours out lies, and a person who stirs up conflict in the community. And I think this is actually the verse itself, I think. Oh, thank you. God bless. Am I right? And this is a song where it is actually a tailor-made freestyle because Kendrick Lamar brought on Jack Antonoff to make the beat, and he's the producer for Taylor Swift. So my man was being petty. He starts by talking about it's a survival, and that's one of Drake's songs. He then goes into Off-White Sunseeker at the marina. Fuck a phantom. I'd like to buy yachts when I get the fever, which is, he's referring to Drake as an Off-White Sunseeker, but also Sunseeker is a brand of luxury yacht. And so it's kind of, it's not my favorite, but the entendre is there, I guess. He then continues with trifecta, money, morals, and culture. That's my leisure, my visa, passport tatted. I show up in Ibiza. Luke, I don't know how to say that. Something dwellings in Brooklyn just to book me some pizza, put my children to sleep with a prayer, then close my eyes. Definition of peace, which he's basically describing how his life is peaceful because he's in his children. Just calling Drake a deadbeat. I'm going to be honest, though. I kind of want to skip over this diss track because I'm going to be honest, out of all of Kendrick's, this one is probably my least favorite. It doesn't really matter too much. So we're just going to go right into the next one, which is Family Matters by Drake. So on the same day that 616 in LA was released, Drake dropped Family Matters, which is a video that depicts the van that is on the album cover of Drake's or Kendrick's Good Kid, Mad City getting crushed. And it starts with him saying, I don't know if it's him or his mother. I don't remember exactly. But he says, maybe in the song, you shouldn't start by saying, I know that you're mad. So I guess his mom said the N-word and we're supposed to just be okay with that. I don't know what that means. His mom's white. I'm a little bit thrown off by the intro. I'm not going to lie to y'all. He then continues by saying, I have to sneeze. My fault. I've emptied the clip over friendlier jabs. You mentioned my seed. Now deal with his dad. I gotta go bad. Drake. I gotta go bad. Out here begging for attention. Say please. Always rapping like you about to get the slaves freed, which is crazy. That line is crazy. I'm not a black person myself. And when I heard that line, I was offended on their behalf. I was like, this is crazy. How do you say that? And then, but anyway, he continues by saying, you're just acting like an activist. It's make-believe. Don't even go back to your hood and plant no money trees. Which is so ironic of him to say when literally a week before Family Matters was released, y'all, he was out in Compton playing basketball and doing pull-ups at the monkey bars with like people from Compton. So I don't know what that means. And obviously he's kind of referring to Kendrick's album To Pimp a Butterfly, which I love, and where he speaks about issues such as colorism, police brutality, you know, the experience of being African American in America, Black Lives Mattered, or Black Lives Matter, not mattered, hello. Like the movement of it all, and he's kind of implying that Kendrick is just using it for a hit, when Kendrick was actually kind of active. So again, don't know what the implication is. He continues by saying, you the black messiah, wifing up a mixed queen. So now he's coming at Kendrick for marrying a biracial woman, which is wild. It says, hit some and hit vanilla cream to help out your self-esteem on some Bobby shit. I want to know what Whitney need. So again, talking about how Kendrick slept with white women, which he was very transparent about on Mr. Morale. And also, again, coming at his wife, or his soon-to-be wife, which is his biggest mistake, I think. Please have a good sleep, 𝐼𝐬𝐿. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Have a good rest. Happy Monday to you. What the freak? He then continues by saying, I didn't sleep, y'all. I am so sorry. All that puppy love was over in y'all's teens. Why you never hold your son and tell him say cheese? We could have left the kids out of this. Don't blame me. You're a dog and you know it. Just playing sweet. Your baby mama captions always screaming save me. You did her dirty all your life. You're trying to make peace. I heard that one of them little kids might be Dave Free. Don't make it Dave Freeze, because your GM is your BM, secret BD. So he's basically saying that one of Kendrick's sons isn't his, which ends up not being true, because the mole who fed Drake that information lied, which we'll get into at the end. He then continues with, you're a man, a 𝐼𝐿𝐽𝐿. We call that shit a mini something. He always says I overlooked him. I was staring straight, again, taking a dig at his height. If Drake Shooter's doing TikToks, realest shooter in your gang, that's P's brother, y'all getting shit shot. It's just a bunch of words, basically saying, I just saw blowjob on there. I don't know what's going on. Drake is just kind of taking digs at Kendrick by saying the word repeatedly over and over. He thought he was clever. He really did. Good kid, Mad City van will pop the latch and let the door slide, basically threatening Kendrick's safety. 𝐜𝐤 shit is only hitting hard when Baby Keem puts his pen to it, basically implying that Kendrick's cousin, Baby Keem, is a ghostwriter, which has not been proven. Kendrick just opened his mouth. Someone go hand him a Grammy right now. That's a compliment. I need water, y'all. I'm talking so much. Give me a moment. Ugh. I'm dying. I just spilled water all over my desk. Oh my god. Oh my god. I just got water everywhere. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh no. It's okay. It's water. I'll clean it up. Oh no. At least I didn't get on my keyboard. God bless. Okay. I got it. Hydro homies. I need water. I'm dying. And then he says, a cease and desist is for hoes. Can't listen to lies that come out your mouth, which I guess is kind of saying he didn't send one. Your daddy got robbed by Top. You stunna and Wayne like father, like son. He's kind of... I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I just want to skip past Drake because it's not... There's no entendres here. He's just talking about rumors around Kendrick. Whatever. Now we're gonna get into the meat of it, and this is the diss that when I heard it, I was watching someone react to Family Matters, y'all, a Twitch streamer by the name of Sean C. And as he's listening and he's like, what do we think about Drake's diss? Kendrick dropped Meet the Grams. And when I tell you the chat went quiet and the man just had his hand on his head like this, because it's like, what is this? Like, it was such a nasty diss. It was nasty. It was beautiful, but it was nasty. Like, it was direct as direct can get. Yeah, Drake really has no depth. I'm sorry. The songs are good bangers, but it's not a diss. The beat is very eerie. And again, if you haven't heard it, even if you hear nothing else of the diss tracks, please go listen to this diss track. It's one of the best I think I've ever heard in my time. Or of all time, point blank. So, people say it's a single day later, but it wasn't. I believe it was 20 minutes later, on May 4th, or that same day, I believe. Kendrick dropped Meet the Grams, which was a track where he addressed his son. He addressed Drake's son, his mother, his father, Drake himself, and a hidden daughter that is allegedly 11 years old, which we're going to get into. I have some photos and I have some links. We're going to get into those. And Drake immediately went to his Instagram, and you know what he denied, y'all? The only thing he denied was the stuff about his daughter and nothing else that Kendrick alleges, which runs very deep and is very scary. So this is the part of the slideshow I'm gonna say, if y'all aren't comfy with some harsh topics, don't stick, okay? And the cover art itself is really nasty. It has Drake's prescriptions on it, including Ozempic. It's the rest of that photo for 616 in LA. The glove is there. Someone within Drake's own circle took a photo of this stuff and gave it to Kendrick. which means Drake can't even trust the people in his own circle. So, Ozempic. Jeez. But the song starts with, "Dear Adonis, I'm sorry that that man is your father. Let me be honest. It takes a man to be a man. Your dad is not responsive. I look at him and wish your grandpa would have wore a cloth." This is the first 4 lines of the song. So he's basically saying, I hate your father. I wish he wasn't born, which means you wouldn't have been born. But because you were born, let me put you on. Let me talk to you. And he follows that up by saying, let me be your mentor, since your daddy don't teach you shit. Never let a man piss on your legs, son. Either you die right there or you pop that man in the head, son. Never code switch. Whether right or wrong, you're a black man. And so Kendrick is offering to give Adonis advice, but it's also in reference to a rumor, y'all, where one of T.I.'s friends peed on Drake's leg. I don't know why the hell it happened. T.I. confirmed that it was true. Who knows? I don't want to know, and I don't care. I'm gonna keep it moving, okay? He says, don't cut them corners like your daddy did. Fuck what Ozempic did. Don't pay to play with them Brazilians. Get a gym membership. Again, kind of referencing the BBL, how he takes Ozempic. Don't be ashamed about who you're with. That's how he treats your moms. Referencing how Drake hid his baby mama. Then he starts talking to his mother. He says, Dear Sandra, your son got some bad habits. I hope you don't undermine them, especially with all the girls that hurt inside this climate. You're a woman, so you know how it feels to be in alignment. So Kendrick here is speaking directly to Drake's mother, talking about all the alleged issues that Drake has had with grown women and underage girls allegedly in the past. He then starts addressing his father with, Dear Dennis, you gave birth to a master manipulator. Even using you to prove who he is a huge favor. Basically talking about how Drake is using his dad, who was never around, to prove that he is a black man. I'm blaming you for all his gambling addictions, because for those of you who don't know, Drake he won $27 million on Russian roulette online, but then lost all of it. So wild. Imagine being able to gamble and lose that much and not care. That's very crazy. Sandra, sit down. What I'm about to say is heavy. Now listen. And then he goes, Your son's a sick man with sick thoughts. I think people like him should die. Him and Weinstein should get fucked up in a cell for the rest of their lives. He hates black women, hypersexualizes them with the kink of a nympho fetish, grew facial hair because he understood being a beard just fit him better. So he's basically drawing similarities between Weinstein and Drake, saying they both have done similar crimes, how he's a sick man with predatory behavior. Also, for people that don't know, beard basically is implying, it basically implies that he's gay. I don't know what that part has to do with anything, but there's that. 𝐜𝐫𝐞𝐝 is spitting. He then continues with, this is a part where it's going to get weird, okay, and crazy. So if people don't want to hear, feel free to leave. Because I don't want to sugarcoat. I want to be transparent. He continues by saying, he got sex offenders on OVO that he keep on a monthly allowance. A child should never be compromised, and he's keeping his child around them. I've been in this industry 12 years. I'm going to tell y'all one little secret. It's some weird shit going on, and some of these artists be here to police it. They be streamlining victims all inside their house and calling them tender, which is basically the implication. You know, there's an artist at OVO who's actually charged, Baka Not Nice, and he's basically saying that there's more than one of these people around Drake. And the line calling him tender is to basically, it's a double entendre on the dating app Tinder, but also tender, like they're young. Oh, I hate it. He then continues with, then leak videos of themselves to further push their agendas, basically saying that Drake leaked the video of his pee-pee himself, which we all already knew, I think. Come on now. To any woman that be playing his music, know that you're playing your sister, or better you're selling your niece to the weirdos, not the good ones. Cat Williams said, get you the truth. So I'm gonna get mine. So the embassy about to get raided too. It's only a matter of time. A LeBron, keep the family away. Hey Curry, keep the family away. To anybody that embody the love for their kids, keep the family away. They're looking at you too. If you're standing by him, keep the family away. I'm looking to shoot through any pervert that lives. Keep the family safe. Which again, he's basically telling people like, P. Diddy was rated first. Next comes Drake. If you're standing next to him, you're going down with them. If you want to keep your family safe, walk away. The next verse is where he starts talking about Drake's daughter. He says, "Dear baby girl, I'm sorry that your father is not active inside your world." So Drake is so stupid. First Pusha T exposes him for his child, and now Kendrick is exposing him for his daughter. You hear the lyrics. I got a little Kendrick, I got a little 𝐼𝐬𝐞𝐝 in me. Just kidding. And then the next line he says, "Instead, he be in Turks paying for sex and popping perks, examples that you don't deserve." His father probably didn't claim him either. History do repeats itself. Sometimes it don't need a reason. But I would like to say it's not your fault that he's hiding another child. And then he says that he's a fucking deadbeat that should never say more life. And then now he goes into, and mind you, he implied that this girl's 11. So Drake had her when he first came into the industry. Very wild. He then continues with, "Dear Aubrey," so Drake, "but you fucked up the moment you called out my family's name. Why you had to stoop so low to discredit some decent people. I try to empathize with you because I know you ain't been through nothing. Crave entitlement," I almost choked, "crave entitlement but wanna be like so bad it's puzzling." Basically saying, and he's right, you know, Drake grew up in a really average, nice neighborhood. The most hardship he had was that he lived in a basement. Whereas the most hardship Kendrick had was that he almost lost his life at 5 years old in like a drive-by. Like, it's a very different scenario. So for Drake to walk around like he's hood, like he's gangster, he's not on the same wavelength as these other rappers. Even his girl's Nicki is more gangster than him because she grew up in like the hood of New York. You know, there's some women in this game that are more hood than Drake, but he likes to pretend like he is, even though he grew up in a very like rich neighborhood in Toronto. Look at it from the bright side now. Adonis has a whole diss album he can listen to when he's mad at Papa Aubrey. Imagine he's mad at him and he starts playing Meet the Grams. Crazy. "No culture, catch it to binge, just disrespecting your mother, identities on the fence, don't know which family will love ya. Why believe you? You never gave us nothing to believe in." He's like, "'cause you lied about your, oh, we get into that next. So he gets into saying, "'cause you lied about religious views, you lied about your surgery, you lied about your accent and your past tense, all this perjury. You lied about your ghostwriters, you lied about your crew members, they all pussy, you lied on them. I know they all got you in them. You lied about your son, you lied about your daughter, huh? You lied about them other kids that out there hoping that you come. You lied about the only artist that can offer you some help. Fuck a rap battle. This is a long life battle with yourself." Oh my God. Ooh. I can't live like this. I can't do this. I can't. He's basically saying, all the things that he lied about. Like, you lied about the people in your camp. You lied about your daughter. You lied about all the other kids that are potentially out there. You lied about Adonis. You lied about some SA cases, about your surgery. And you messed with the only guy in the industry who could help you. And the fact, it's a banger to end it with, "This is a lifelong battle with yourself." Shut up, Drake. You can't say anything else. And to make matters worse, then I think it's either the same day or the next freaking day, Kendrick drops a song "Not Like Us," which is now, I can tell y'all, I can attest, because I'm in Cali, it's a certified club banger. Everyone's playing it. And the part where it's OV-ho, people go crazy. Everyone is playing the song. I drove down the street at least once a day. I'm hearing "Not Like Us" in somebody's car. Like, everybody out here is playing the song. Everyone everywhere is playing the song. I saw a club in Paris that was freaking playing "Not Like Us." It's crazy. And this cover art is actually the little icons you see. They're icons used to show where sexual offenders live. So there's that. But to be fair, Kendrick does associate with some people who've also done sketchy things. Like, y'all, Metro Boomin got exposed on Twitter for like saying some really crazy stuff about minors when he was 18, and people started calling him Metro Groomin, which is wild. So a lot of people in this industry got dirt on him. But to be fair, people tried to find dirt on Kendrick and they couldn't. Other than a tweet in like 2009 where he said, "We're about to go like F your bitch at Best Buy," or something. Like, that's the best thing that they could find on him. Like, he was just being cringy. There was a tweet where he said, "Hey y'all," and had a smiley face. Like, no one could find anything. Where the SEL offenders live in America, we do. We have them tagged. There's a whole website where you can find out if there are any SEL offenders living near you. So, people are very on lock about that here. And he starts the song with, "Psst. Oh, I didn't mean to do that." He says, "Psst. I see dead people." That's what he says. And he is basically, and he got DJ Mustard on the track. And DJ Mustard made a tweet saying, "I never turn my back on my city, and I'm fully loaded." So now there's another person in the mix who doesn't like Drake. Crazy. Then he continues with, "What's up with these jabroni ass people trying to see Compton? Beat your ass and hide the Bible if God watching." And then this is where he gets kind of crazy. And he says, "Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. Better never go to cell block 1." He says to any girls that talk to him and you're in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him. Oh my God. Oh my God. And then he says, "And party at the party playing with his nose now. And Baka got a weird case. Who is he around? Certified lover boy, certified PDSI." And then he talks about artists who are still associated with OVO, like Party Next Door and Baka, being Baka Not Nice, who we talked about before, involved with like human trafficking, which is crazy. And the line that got everybody is the line where he says, "Trying to strike a chord, and it's probably A minor." And the song Not Like Us was in A minor. That's crazy. That's crazy. It's very wild, Layla. But I'm you know what? I'm gonna say it. I'm happy to see Drake's downfall. I've been sick of this man since he started disrespecting Megan Thee Stallion and since he started disrespecting Rihanna. Shut the hell up, Drake. Shut up. You're just mad that one woman rejected you and another got married to a man that you have beef with. And you're mad that you never got to sleep with Nicki too. Shut the hell up. Razzie, hello, welcome in. How are you? Let me grab your link. Don't move. Don't move, Razzie. Don't move. There we go. How are you doing? Yeah. He's just upset. So there's that. And then the next line is, "Fucked on Wayne's girl while he was in jail. That's conniving, then get his face tatted like a bitch apologizing." Which, if y'all don't know, there's a rumor that Drake been lasting for the 45 minutes. Thank you. I did my research. He slept with Lil Wayne's girl, Tammy Torres, and when Lil Wayne went to jail, and then a few years later, got a portrait of Lil Wayne tattooed. Enjoy your lurk. I appreciate you. Then he continues with, "And your homeboy needs subpoena. That predator moving flocks. That name got to be registered and placed on neighborhood watch." That's crazy. "Once upon a time, all of us," and then he talks about the line where, you know, Drake says, "You're talking like you want to free the slaves." And so Kendrick addresses that by saying, "Once upon a time, all of us were in chains. Homie still doubled down, calling us some slaves. Atlanta was the Mecca, building railroads and trains." And then there's a line, which isn't included here, where he talks about how Drake runs to Atlanta when he needs money. He runs to 21 Savage to get his street cred. He runs to Future when he wants to make a club banger. Like, he's using everyone in the industry to feel more black about himself, is basically what Kendrick says. And then the last rap out one is not, no, you're not a colleague, you're a fucking colonizer. The family matter and the truth of the matter is it was God's plan to show y'all the liar, which is referencing one of Drake's most popular songs, God's Plan, and basically saying that this man is colonizing hip hop. He took Tupac's ring, he took Pharrell's jewelry, and he doesn't care about the culture. And so that's where Kendrick's stuff ends. The next part is The Heart Part 6, which was the last song released by Drake. And it has the heart from Dave Free, which is the man that allegedly had coddlings with Perry bro to Columbus. It's crazy. This came out the next day. And this is the last diss track that came out. Other than 𝐵𝐵𝐿 by Metro Boomin, which is a 𝐵𝐵𝐿, you know. I'm not going to sing again because right now my throat hurts. And I think I'm catching the seasickness. I'm very scared. Just kidding. I don't think I have that. But I think my throat is acting up and it's going to get smacked up. And so he released The Heart Part 6. And I'm only going to read the parts that I think are important, because again, a lot of Drake's things are just, they're just direct. I'm dying. I made a slideshow and I still have to get into like the links. Also, hello, let me get your link. Don't move. I think this is your command. 𝐵𝐵𝐿, I know. Thank you. I'm trying. You know, I'm a bit of a musician. I was in band or whatever. But the first thing that Drake says is, I don't mean to do that, is the ones that you're getting your stories from, they all clowns. I'm a war general seasoned in preparation. My jacket is covered in medals, honors, and decoration, whatever. He's basically saying, I am writing a manifesto. Basically, he's saying how and I'm gonna derail a little bit. There was a rumor going around on Twitter from the Drake fans, the OV hoes, okay, saying that Drake must have sent some information to Kendrick. He must have planted some info and lied. And then Drake runs with it in the song saying, yeah, I planted all of that. Why would you plant lies about your daughter existing? That I could get, right? Maybe you did lie about that. But in the same breath, why would you want to make up rumors about you being a PDF file, or being involved in human trafficking, or abusing animals in more ways than one? Why would you want to make up rumors about that? Please think in your mind, OVOers, where does that make sense? To make up lies about a girl? Okay. But to make up lies about everything else alongside that? And to really, the only thing that you really address is the fact that you have a daughter. You don't address anything else. You just address the fact that your daughter doesn't exist. I beg your pardon? And so then the only line I really want to get to, because I need y'all to understand how much these lines sent me. It's 2 lines. Bro is down. Please. He says, speaking of anything with a child, let's get to that now. The Epstein angle was something that I expected. TikTok videos you collected and dissected, instead of being on some disdirect shit, you rather fucking grab your pen and misdirect. This line I have to talk about because Drake, if you're listening to this, you might be. You've been sending cease and desist to everybody left and right. Hi, how are you? OVO, what's up? What do you mean by you expected the Epstein angle? What do you mean? What do you mean you expected them to compare you to Epstein? And on top of that, they didn't even talk about Epstein. They talked about Weinstein. So why are you bringing Epstein up? I'm sorry? Drake is lurking. He's watching me. He's a subscriber. And then he continues by saying, where's the other line? I need to find it. This one. I never been with no underage, but now I understand why this is the angle you're really messing with. Just for clarity, I feel disgusted. I'm too respected. If I was fucking young girls, I promise I'd been arrested. I'm way too famous for the shit you suggested. So his excuse for as to why I'm not a PDF file, I'm famous. Okay, so was R. Kelly. And so was Weinstein. And so was Epstein. Yet here we are. His ghostwriters took an L. They hate him. They hate this man. And then the next line that drives me crazy is only fucking with Whitney's, not Millie Bobby Brown's. I'd never look twice at no teenager. Who brought up Millie Bobby Brown? Why are we talking about Millie Bobby Brown, Drake? Kendrick didn't even bring her up. Kendrick didn't even bring her up. And this man is mentioning Millie Bobby Brown, who, mind you, he started forming a quote-unquote friendship with when she was 14. Okay, 6 years ago, I believe. 6 years ago, Drake was 31. Texting a 14-year-old girl about boys, and also, which I have a photo in like a TikTok of, being on a yacht by himself, allegedly, with Millie Bobby Brown when she was like 15. And I have a thread on that, Daniel. We're going to get to it. I have Twitter. I have Twitter threads. I have TikToks. I have Reddit. You'll see it at the top. I'm not playing around. And so that's kind of where it's at. But then it does divulge into more, which we're going to get back into on the slideshow. I don't think we need this anymore. We're kind of done with that. So let's get back into this. Okay. Things that have unfolded since then. He is Layla. There were a lot of shootings and attempted break-ins at Drake's house. The first one starting on May 7th, and the most recent, I think, being last week, of people in his own city of Toronto trying to break in. The first incident, his guard did end up reportedly injured, but he's in serious condition. And the motive is unclear, but I dug deep, y'all, and I don't know if y'all know, but about a month ago, there was a shooting at the Weeknd's estate, one of his places in Canada, allegedly from someone with an OVO, where the Weeknd's security guard either passed away or was like critically injured from the shooting. The same thing is now happening at Drake's house. I'm not saying anything. I'm not putting anything on anybody. But The Weeknd and Drake have problems because as soon as The Weeknd and Bella were just taking a break, Drake was trying to move in on Bella. And he was dissing The Weeknd at the same time. So, I'm just saying. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. And then here, before we get the tweet, before we get into the links that I have here, because I have a few, there's no concrete proof, obviously, that Drake is a PDF file, but there's a lot of things that just don't make sense. The one on the right, which you see here, this here, is a tweet that he made in 2012 or somewhere along those lines called Baby Girl. And this is an article from Entertainment Hollywood, so it's not like a completely unknown source. And there's a couple other articles as well, where it says a Miami waitress had filed legal documents notifying the rapper that he had agreed to a paternity test for her daughter. And this is from an article in I can't see clearly, but either 2015 or 2013, which would line up with the age that Kendrick Lamar said she is. Just saying. And then down here is a weird lyric that Drake has that says Sierra Canyon parking lot looking like Magic City parking lot, which for those of you that don't know, Magic City is a high school. No, Magic City is a strip club and Sierra Canyon is a high school. So he's saying that the strip club parking lot looks like the high school parking lot. What do you mean by that, Drake? What do you mean? At your 37-year-old age. What do you mean? You freak. Now I want to get into the lyrics before I get into like my full thoughts on him. So we're going to go on to the back page that I was on. This is the main thread that I had seen on Twitter, which got deleted, mind you. The person came forward on a different account because their main got deleted and said that Twitter said that on like grounds of copyright infringement, so OVO, their stuff got deleted. But someone saved it all and I found it because I dug deep. So here is a history of some weird behavior from Drake with fans. The first one, I don't know if we can watch it, if it's even available. It's probably not. You can find it online though. It's a video of a 23-year-old Drake kissing a 17-year-old fan at a concert in 2010. And when he asks her, you know, are you 17? She says she is. He says, you're 17? Why do you look like that? You thick. Look at all this. And he also said something along the lines of he liked the way that her breasts felt on his back. So I'm gripping the foam keyboard thing at my desk because it grosses me out so much. But I want to talk about it. The next thing is regards to Hailey Baldwin. So there were rumors that when Drake was 29 and Hailey Baldwin was 19, not illegal, but she's young, had began dating after they were seen to be very affectionate. And she went to the party with Madison Beer, who was only 17, and they were spotted having dinner together. He wore an H letter necklace on the way out, and he said that he'd actually known her for 4 years. So he met her when she was 15 and invited her when she was underage to his 28th birthday party when she was 17. And he also attended Kendall Jenner's birthday party and captioned it an Instagram photo at the time with Ruby Rose, Phoebe Doll, and Hailey Bieber. If I could somehow buy a house and say, I don't know, Jamaica, then we all ... Okay, Drake. The next one is in regards to Georgia Smith, and they were linked in early 2017 after she performed on his tour when she was 19 and he was 30. And it was reported that they started dating at the time, and he described in some of his lyrics in the song Jaded, he said there was a young woman using him and he felt jaded, and he described their age gap as, you're old enough but you're still a baby. I don't know what to say. Then Millie Bobby Brown. Drake had met Millie Bobby Brown actually when she was 13. Thank you for lurking, Storms. And they met at a concert in Brisbane, Australia. And she did an interview where she's like, oh, Drake is a fan of me. He says he loves me so much and I love him. And we text all the time. And, he texts me. He helps me with boys. Drake, what are you doing helping a teenage girl with boys? At 31? What are you doing? And there's a photo, which I have, it's been deleted, but someone on TikTok posted it and I have it, of where Millie Bobby Brown is alone with Drake on a yacht. I have it. And she's like 14. I have the picture. Okay. 2 months later, during the Golden Globe party, is when he's 31 and she's 13. And people said they spent the whole night together. Is that an Ozempic ad? Is it? No, it's just I don't know what it is. Then it says at the SAG Awards, how she was happy for her friendship with Drake. She just turned 14. There's a cover story for W Magazine where she talks about her relationship with Drake, how they text all the time. In 2018, she talked about it even more, how he texts her, I miss you so much, and like he can't wait to see her. Mind you, she's only like 17. He's a 30-something-year-old man. Now for Charlotte D'Alessio and Madison Beer. In 2018, The Guardian put out an article about how she became an Instagram sensation. And in the article, she explained how when Drake was 31 and she had just turned 18, and Madison Beer had just turned 18, that they had formed some kind of friendship with Drake. Bella Harris is another one. So 18-year-old Bella Harris shared a photo with 31-year-old Drake while she was backstage at his concert, which sparked romance rumors because of the caption. And he allegedly shut down an entire restaurant for her. But mind you, y'all, he met her when she was 16. She also wished Drake a happy 30th birthday on his post when she was 16. Absorb that. Then we have Sydney Christine, who produced Money in the Grave. And she went on to an interview and basically said that Drake had been following her since she was 16, but she didn't know why. Oh my god, oh my god. And then we obviously have Kylie Jenner, where there's photos of him literally kissing Kylie Jenner at her 16th birthday. So, and another one that's not on here that I don't, oh no, it is. Billie Eilish, she made a post when she was 17 on Instagram where she basically said, can't wait to be 18. And Drake put a caption, which he now deleted. He commented saying, we've been waiting. And he put the like hot face emoji with the tongue out. Oh my god. Oh my god. And mind you, yesterday Billie Eilish was seen at a club in Atlanta dancing to Not Like Us. So clearly something happened there. And then the last one we have is Suede Brooks, but this one's not really, it's gross. Well, it's not. There are women that do that with like Chris Evans. So this one I'm going to skip over. It's not that important. Now she's bopping to Not Like Us, literally. This slide is a collection of old tweets from Drake. So that's my name. If you follow me on here, I'm never on here. But I'll add you, I guess, if you're on Reddit. I don't linger there too much anymore. It's a little bit too dark for me. But the first tweet is, if Amazing was a young bitch, I'd be going to jail. Because I'm fucking... Okay, Drake. Okay. The next one is, the kings I hang with are gonna be parents one day. Scary. Next one. From this man Diddy's view, I think I see his vision. In his 20s at this time, mind you. That good, that young. What does that mean? What does that mean? What do you mean, Drake? What do you mean? Okay. The next one is more such Drake lyrics. So the lyrics are, I search one name and end up seeing 20 teens. And then he lists a bunch of names. He said, man, I pack them in this phone to some sardines and they send me naked pictures. It's the small things. What do you mean, Drake? I can't deal with you. D Drake, the Diddy Kool-Aid. That's a... He then continues with this lyric on Jaded. And this is again about Jordan Smith when she was only just turned 18 or 19. He said, we could have waited. I was rushing, different in ages. You're old enough, but you're still a baby. Okay. Ladies over 20 aged out, apparently. So there's that. And then this is the TikTok I saw, y'all, of a woman who allegedly may have a child of Drake's. This is what her son looks like. This is muted because there's music, as y'all can hear. There's Drake when he was young, and then that's her son. And then that's Drake. That is Drake. And then this is, and then this is the caption that's on her Instagram where Kendrick talks like this to the unknown daughter in the song Meet the Grams. He pulled it from this woman's Instagram. Why would he do that? For what reason? Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. The next one, I'm clicking on the wrong thing like an idiot. I do want y'all to hear this one. I don't know if you'll be able to though. Let me pull up Spotify really quick. Let me know if y'all can hear if y'all can hear this window. If not, I gotta figure out a way. Let me know if you can hear this. Can y'all hear that at all? If y'all can't, then oh well, I can't play this. Damn it! Okay. Well, basically, I'm just going to explain what this man is talking about. So he's talking about the different people that Drake has issue with. So the first person he talks about, obviously, is The Weeknd. And it's basically the people he has issue with. So The Weeknd, it happens to be about Bella, With 𝐼𝐸𝐴P Rocky, it happens to be because 𝐸𝐴P had a crush on Rihanna. Drake goes at Rihanna first, so 𝐸𝐴P Rocky misses out, and now 𝐸𝐴P is married to Rihanna, so Drake has a problem. Rick Ross has a problem with Drake because Drake tried to pull a cease and desist order on a song that French Montana made, which Rick Ross produced. So there's that. Then you have Pusha T, obviously, who has issues with Drake. You know, a lot of these people didn't really have issues with Drake. It's more like the people they know who had issues with him. Megan obviously has issues with Drake because Drake came at her for lying, in his eyes, for getting shot in the foot, which is not at all what happened. Kanye West has issues with Drake because Drake tried to sleep with Kim Kardashian. You know, and so there's that. And then he kind of just goes into talking about why Kendrick and Drake have issues, which I kind of already went to. So this video here, and y'all can watch it at this user if you want, since you can't hear the noise. This guy is interviewing this young girl about Drake. And he's basically asking her, you know, is it true that Drake's dads follow you on Instagram? And she's saying it is. And he's asking her, what was your interaction with Drake like? And she hears, she's putting her hands up, basically saying, like, I can't say. And then this is where she says, you know, I have to keep it for the court. And so he starts freaking out because he's like, what the hell does she mean keep it for the court? Mind you, this girl's 16. So there's that. This is a video of Drake's dad hugging a girl really inappropriately at a party where she thought she was going to meet Drake, but she ended up meeting Drake's father. So there's that. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree, apparently. And then this, y'all, is where things get kind of messy because Naru, hello, welcome in. How are you doing? The mole who took the photo of the cover art for the Meet the Grams album, apparently he's come forward, and mind y'all, this guy's so crazy that he's using those old school computers that police use so they can't be tracked, and he's releasing camera footage of where Drake was that night. And I forget if this video dives into it or not, but he has video here where he's showing the items, the mole, allegedly, right? And then he's also released actual, like, camera footage of the hotel where this happened, which is called, like, the Marks Hotel, which allegedly, according to research that people have done, is a hotel where Epstein would handle some of his business. So there's that. This is also another video discussing that Drake is actually starting to sell his homes in America. He had 3 homes here, and he's listing one of them for $88 million, and he's trying to actually leave the United States. So there's that. There's this video where an interview is done by, I forget his name, the name of this rapper, but he's basically talking about how Drake was never a nice guy. And this is a video from 5 years ago. So, and mind y'all, like I mentioned earlier, I had a lot more, but they sent so many cease and desist to people and scared them that a lot of the stuff I had just doesn't exist anymore. And so there's that. This is the video I told y'all about where the girl finds the now deleted Facebook post from Millie Bobby Brown, where she captions it choosing kindness, and she's alone on a yacht with Drake, and she credits Drake for taking the photo. Hi, XYZ. How are you? Welcome in. I mean, I'll buy it. I have 2 pennies and a half-eaten apple. Take it or leave it, please. But there's that post. So there's that. And then here's the talks of a rapper who Drake had paid $150,000 to leak information on Kendrick, and the guy came out and did an interview and basically said, hey, I lied. Actually, I have that money as pocket change, but I took it because I was about to fool this guy. He's stupid. So he lied to Drake about Kendrick and kept the money. So Drake's an idiot. And then this last one I have is from a close friend of Kendrick saying how he reacted when the disses were coming out. And it's basically saying, like, you know, Kendrick, this is the part that gets me, is Kendrick smiled hearing Drake's disses. This man Kendrick is a menace. He's a menace to society. He's a menace. The fact that someone's dissing you and you're just sitting there like, yeah, this is funny. Is it, Drake? Is it funny? What's funny? I need to move this because it's bugging me. That's very crazy to me. And so there's that. And so that's kind of where things have wrapped. Obviously the song BBL Drizzy dropped and Drake made an Instagram story basically being like, party's over, we're moving on to the summer baddies, and everyone's like, shut the hell up. And everyone is bumping Kendrick. Kendrick is actually the most streamed rapper right now, I think, of like all time. He is beating out records that's never been done, and he's doing it while kicking Drake off the charts. He's beating Drake at the game that Drake started years ago, which is insane. Yeah, I hope he stays on top. You know what? California's up right now, and it's making me very happy because I feel like the West Side hasn't really had a good, solid rapper to represent until Kendrick came around. And now we finally have somebody, because I think the last person we had was, please don't spam the chat, by the way. If you want to talk to someone, that's fine, but don't spam the chat. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. The party's over after being humiliated, please. I'm really glad that the beef happened because I think it's humbled the hell out of Drake, and it's made him realize that he has ops in his own corner but also outside of that. And I'm really glad that it happened in a way where Kendrick didn't taint his own career and his own status, because you could say I do right for Kendrick, and maybe I do, I don't care. I think Kendrick is one of the best rappers this world has had in a really long time. In a really long time. And I would have put J. Cole up there, but after the diss track that he made, you know, I can't. Okay. I'm sorry, Alexandra, peace and love. You're not listening, so you have to leave my channel. Goodbye. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't put up with people that just don't follow rules. If I tell you not to spam, please don't spam. If you want to DM people, that's your business. Let's not come on here and act crazy and start saying, hey, hi, me, fee, fi, fo, fum in the chat, and then trying to say hi to everybody, please. Let's keep it nice. Let's keep it moving. Let's follow the rules, you know. Let's not get me targeted by YouTube for thinking that I have bots up in here. Thank you very much. Peace and love to you, girl, but you would not follow rules, and I'm not someone that, on my channel, I'm sorry, but I'm not someone that tiptoes around my rules. If I tell you something once, you gotta listen to it. And if you don't, it's boots on the ground, kicks you out, goodbye. Go do it on someone else's. I don't play that game because I've been a moderator too long for people. I see how people don't listen, and I'm not gonna let it happen here. I'm sorry. I can't let it happen here. I can't deal with it. Meet the Grams was crazy. It was, Bishop. Also, hello. Welcome in. How are you? Period. I'm the #1 D writer for Kendrick. Not scared to say it. Period. Yes, hermana, low-key. The last comment wasn't for Alexandra. It's okay. But yeah, that's kind of where this wraps. There's nothing else to talk about. I obviously want to talk about P. Diddy and Cassie at some point. I think I'm going to do that, though, as I play a game, because, like, that one is so bad. Like, part of me is not sure if I even want to talk about it, because it's even worse than this. And so, like, I don't know how to go about doing that. But For those of y'all that don't know, I am going on vacation next week, Thursday through Tuesday, so I am going to be out all weekend. I have some shorts planned that I'm going to be dropping the weekend that I'm gone, at least 2 or 3 that I'm trying to come up with. And I'm gonna be like making community posts asking what y'all want to see and stuff, just so that I'm not completely gone, and I'll be sharing photos of what I do and where I'm going. I'm just going to Colorado, so it's family. But I was thinking of maybe streaming during the week, like it's gonna be at a nighttime though. It's gonna be a crazy time. It's gonna be like at 9 p.m. as we're going to sleep. It's gonna be like Animal Crossing and chill or something. Not like that. But like really chill, like game just to pass out and go to bed. And that would probably be my last stream. I'm gonna think about it though. I don't know yet. Yeah, she can't be prosecuted. It sucks. I hate it. Effing P. Diddy. As I'm waking up, in other words, hello, how are you? Welcome in, Aurelius. Let me get links again. I'm so sorry. Hold on. Here we go. Let's get this going. Don't play with me. We had Daniel. I know 𝐿𝐼𝐿𝐼. We had Joe up in here. There we go. Oh, and then we had Razzie up in here. Period. There's everybody. Make sure y'all go follow. Go show some love. I can't speak. But I'm gonna try to do that. If I make a thumbnail, it means I'm at least half committed. I'm at least half committed. And so there's that. I also, since a few of y'all are here, how would y'all feel about me playing Smash Brothers? Like the one on the Switch, like doing the story and stuff. How would y'all feel? Because for those of y'all who do not know, I don't know if I've shared, but I was a beast at Smash Brothers on the Wii, okay? I could be up to like 250% on damage, and I was still going strong, and I would still whoop an ass, okay? So I really like Smash Brothers, and I was thinking of playing it because I think I have it. But I'm thinking of buying it anyway because I really like it. Let me know what y'all think of that. I can also just do a poll. I mean, that might be easier. But I'm going to go now. I might be going out with a friend to get shrimp soon. I don't know. It's shrimp crab. It's the same thing. But we're going to end there. I'd end out with 𝐵𝐵𝐿𝐷𝐿, but it's copyrighted now, so I can't do that. So womp womp for me. I'm going to just go have lunch. Y'all go about your days. I'm not going to raid anybody. Y'all just go where you please. Don't mind, you know, don't mind me. Just go where you want. Have a good rest of your day. Take care of yourselves, and I'll perhaps talk to y'all in the middle of the week. I don't know yet. If not, I'll see y'all in quite a bit of time. Stay blessed and not... I don't know how to end this. Bye.